Hey y'all, welcome to Growth Rising. I'm Bird. Thank you for coming back or visiting, whichever one it is. Thank you, and I hope that you do enjoy this video. So, here we talk about things dealing with astrology. We've been talking about the houses, and so now we're on the fifth house. So we're almost halfway through. Um, so with the fifth house, it's the house of, excuse me, it's the house of self-expression. This is the house where we learn how to express ourselves in a creative way because this is also the house of creativity. So, like, let's say if you're the person who likes to draw or paint or read or write, um, anything that you can do to express the way that you feel creatively, because like what we were just saying in the fourth house, that's where you become aware of your emotions, and now we're expressing ourselves, we're expressing who we are through that fifth house. So if you think about like the sun characteristics or Leo characteristics, it's more about what makes me happy, what makes me feel good, what makes me X, Y, and Z. And so this is just basically the house where we find that out. If you're the type of person who end up like playing football or basketball or tennis, soccer, whatever, this is the house where you start to learn about your hobbies, stuff that makes you feel good. This is the house of you. Actually, all the houses are you, but this is where you focus on things that you want to do just because, like, not for necessarily for a profit or some kind of gain. It's just because it's something that brings you joy, because in the fifth house, that is where we find things that brings us joy in life. The fifth house is also the first love house. I know usually, when people talk about relationships and love, they go straight to the seventh house, which, yes, we will get there also. But the fifth house is also like where, your first love, so we have all of these creative feelings and fun times, and also love. The fourth house like starts off that teenage years, and let's say the fifth house is young adult age, and you meet that first love of your life when you are, I don't know, at some football game or a drink and paint thing or some kind of event where you both are having fun, basically. Y'all meet there, and that's your first love. We're not going to go through that relationship because there's no telling if it stays there or if it ends, because we are, like, some of us know how the first love is not always the love that stays, but we're not going to get into that because this is a fun house. So we're going to keep it light and happy. So yeah, so in the fifth house, like, let's say your fifth house is ruled by Pisces, and excuse me, and Pisces is usually about dreams and imagination and escapism. Let's say one of the ways that you like to I'm just going to use writing. Let's say that you like to write different stories. That could be one of your creative ways to express the way that you feel, because you're escaping the real world and you're entering to your little fantasy world where you're just writing everything out. You're just writing down whatever it is that's on your mind, that's on your heart. Because I know fifth house deals a lot with the heart, because Leos, that's we got to face it. They have a big heart. But yeah, so that's more about what the fifth house is on. So whatever it is that you enjoy doing. And also, we do also have to keep in mind that, based on the planets that are or not in the house, will also affect, like I don't know, we have Mercury in the fifth house that's ruled by Pisces. So that kind of goes with the whole thing about writing, to escape the real world and to go into your fantasy world where you have fun and you just feel so loved when you're writing about these characters, and you just see everything so vividly, and it just brings so much joy to your heart that you just want to share it with everyone. Because sometimes whenever you enjoy something and you really feel creative about whatever it is, you do want to share it with others. But also, this house also deals with the way that we approach the world, with joy. Like, let's just say, like a artist may feel like they approach the world through singing, and that's how they can contribute some type of joy to the world. That's why I was saying, with if you were writing, to escape the real world and go into this fantasy world where you have fun and have all of this love, and it's so much better. um you might want to eventually make a movie or write a book or a play or a comic book or uh, something to basically share what you came up with the world, to help to give some of that joy that you have already felt within yourself. Now you want to spread it with the world. So yeah, that's pretty much with the fifth house. Oh yeah, and the fifth house also deal with children. So it could also kind of talk about the type of parent that you are, or the type of parent that you will be. Because, like, let's say Aries, your fifth house is ruled by Aries. Aries are very involved. So your house is ruled by Aries. You could be a very involved parent in your child's life. And I'm not sure if I said it earlier, but this is also the house of hobbies and sports and playfulness, which that is a lot to deal with the sun and Leo. Very playful. But bringing it back to just the fifth house. So, like, if you have the Aries fifth house, you could be one of those parents who are always at every school event and having your kids into a lot of different extracurricular activities. You could be one of those people who want to have your kid, like, just be involved in your kid's life. Um, it might get on their nerves sometimes, yes, and 9.9 times out of 10, it will. But that's just some of the things dealing with the fifth house. And also, there are certain transits that go on in the fifth house, like, let's say Venus, or I don't know, the moon, or certain transits that I know some people say, or even Jupiter, that it could possibly possibly, you know, result in a pregnancy for whoever fifth house it is. But that's just a little tidbit, because I think it was somebody who had Venus sextile Jupiter in the fifth house ended up getting pregnant, even though it was kind of hard for her to get pregnant. But don't quote me on it because I have to go back and check. But yeah, so um that's also the house of children. So of course there's going to be pregnancies, and not trying to scare anybody or anything like that. But that's just some of the stuff that that fifth house deals with. Because I'm pretty sure that if you get into that point, you already been having some fun anyway. But I hope that you enjoyed this video. For any questions or concerns or any statements, just go ahead and leave a comment down below. And you have a good day. Bye.